to kick things off. Obviously, we want to see Envy get off to that strong start and hopefully get us to that point of a third map possibility. I don't think that Ascent is really going to bode well for them based on what we've seen from TSM in the past, or T1 on the past on that map, excuse me. Here we go, some aggression coming out right off the bat. They're charging up long right now over on B. ACK's already picked up mummAy. crashies getting into a long-range duel with the Sage. Akis comes out on top, as does FNS. So that'll be a nice start here for Envy as they found themselves a multiple player advantage. It's all on Food now on the flank. The good thing for Food, Spike still dropped back mid.
Yeah, I loved how aggressively T1 played that, but the problem was they got pinched over on B-Long. Food is going to spot Akis as the last kill, but Akis is going to win the fight, and that's going to be the first round going over in favor of Envy. Again, I like what we saw at a T1 there. I like how they played the opening moments of that round, but you know, maybe a little too aggressive.
Yeah, it was an interesting roll of the dice coming in from them. I feel like they maybe thought they had a read on the way that Envy was going to be set up, and it didn't work out so well for them. So now they'll be on the back foot. You can see they're not really going to spend too much money. They are actually going to spend more than I'd like to see them spend on some players, like brax, buying down to 1,400. That's going to drastically affect his first buy round, as the equipment is not exactly going to be there. But depending on what he brought into the last round, maybe he's still got some tripwires left in that kit. Kaboose chucking out a nade, clearing out the close corner. The camera is going to go in as well. Tags one towards spawn. So they know there's a couple players here over on the B site. But right now they're just spread out, and they're, if anything, potentially leaning back away from that B site. You can see the spike is down back towards back B. But they've got feelers out towards showers, and there's one more as well moving up short. There's the first peek coming through, though, and crashies guns down Calypso. So an aggressive position with the shorty pays off in dividends here for T1.
Yeah, but you see T1 is already starting to rotate back over to that A side. They've dropped that one-way smoke on A short, and that's just going to make pushing through that very difficult. Food is there in lamps or U-Haul, depending on what you want to call it. Obviously, both are very common, and it looks like Envy's getting the yips, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. They're going to rotate back.
I kind of like this. I like the way they're playing this one. You've still got players here over on the B site, so for a second it was, okay, let's rotate, let's get back to that A site. You can see they paused for a moment back in the back halls, and it ends up working out at least a little bit for them as they've got players in position. They're starting to rotate through. FNS can't catch the rays as they come through into Hookah, and that shotgun's so scary close range, but Food can't get two shells back into the barrels. They're trying to lock down the defense on the site. It's a 3-on-4 numbers advantage currently for T1.
Yeah, the spike has been planted. You hear it ticking away. Kaboose goes aggressive. He's able to get AZK. He's able to get brax as well. Kaboose and the rest of Envy are able to clean it up. It was a bit of an investment, yes, but it paid off. Envy up 2-0 here.
That was actually, so I say flawless. It wasn't a flawless round, but that was a flawless hold in the post plant. Really well done there by Envy to keep those weapons in play. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see from a team holding a site with a disadvantage. We'll see how they behave as they're going to be matched up against the full force of T1's buy. You can see how that last round does affect their money. Skadoodle, crashies, multiple players on light armor, not full armor, as they need to spend some of that money to build out their kit. Recon Dart is going to go out long, taken out immediately, but not before a pulse comes through and gives away the position of a few. Nice curveball coming in to Hookah to flush that out. There are 3 players currently on the site. The ult's been popped here as the Phoenix starts moving in close. It's crashies. I really love the way they're using the Phoenix ult to run it back, working out nicely. Diving into his own molly with the curveball coming through. Doesn't work out so well for him, but blood's already been shed. And there's one player who's standing on the sidelines currently. It'll be the Rays who's watching for the remainder of the round.
Slight numbers advantage on the side of T1 and as for explosive as the opening moments of that round where the spike hasn't even left the spawn. crashies is going to be able to take care of FNS, and the spike is going to go down. It looks like the Omen's going to be there to pick it up, and they're so close to be here at this point, and the clock is certainly not in their favor that they almost have to invest on that at this point and choose to go that way. But when you're as outnumbered as you are, any site is a difficult one to take here.
She's having a great round getting things started with that aggressive play through Hookah. giving his team the two-man advantage. I love this position from Food as well. It allows them to focus all of their effort over on B. Food up on top of the barrel. Blast packs going out to try and delay just a little bit, but the force coming through is just too much to fight against. But with the clock being what it is, they're going to save. They realized, you know what, there's just not much time. We won't really be able to fully clear out this East A site. So Envy is going to back off and hold on to the guns and bring them into the next round. So not a great round coming in from Envy against the first full buy coming in from T1, but you see this a lot. That third round is so punishing. If you're coming in with a lot of those SMGs and Bulldogs from the previous rounds, this is where you get to see how they're going to stack up against their opponent, because the full buy will come in from both teams.
Yeah, and even you take a look at economy right now, Akis is not going to be able to afford a full buy. He's only got 2,600 credits. He might, okay, yeah. Looks like he was bought for. So it is going to be good against good. Rifles across the board. And this is the first time we've seen this. The one exception, Skadoodle on light armor, down to 100 credits. Not a ton of money to show for it here, but take a look at the mini-map, folks. It looks like it's going to be a slow move, but a move onto B nonetheless. The spike is still in the back. See mummAy pre-firing all the way down B long, not catching anyone quite yet, as Kaboose creeps his way into hookah.
Satchel out.
Taking out the tripwires, frustrating anyone who plays Cypher, as all that utility just destroyed with one satchel.
Enemy.
You see the Owl drone going in towards long, trying to spot the players out. Shock darts coming out as well to do some additional damage. Follow-up shock dart, not going to connect. Crashies with the curveball around the corner, but the bulk of the body is already too far away. Deep Cyber Cage coming in to provide some support. The Raze is still lurking around over in hookah, but they're deciding to back off, and I do think that's the right call. They have baited out a ton of utility over on that B site, so they're costing T1 money even if they go away from B and back towards A. But there's only a two-player hold. Right now, you've got Food, who doesn't have the nade. He's only got the blast packs and the boombot. You've got the Brim here as well, and there goes the boombot out towards Shower. So they're really draining this utility right now for T1.
Molly.
I do love the discipline that we're seeing out of T1, though. With all that noise, all that ruckus that was caused over at B, they didn't rotate, but now they're going to have to move. FNS is able to get the first one. Food is going to get zoned off, at least for a little bit, but there's a firing squad of people right on the other side. FNS is able to get the first one as Food drops. The wall's going to go up as well, and with 10 seconds left, it looks like the spike is going to go down. Brax takes care of Kaboose. The flash goes in. A little bit of friendly fire. Brax gets another one, looking for the third, but FNS wins the gunfight.
Now down to one, though. It's Crashies. The Phoenix on the other side watches kind of counterpart on the opposite end do all the work. It's Akis to close things out on the round. A good round coming in from Envy as they play that so insanely slow, baiting out all of that utility over on B, baiting it all out over on A. That is an expensive round, just how much utility they're forcing them to use and then not able to defend in the end. There is actually something I do want to point out that we didn't talk about coming into this match, is the role juggle. mummAy is playing Cypher. I don't remember ever seeing mummAy play Cypher before. He's always been on the Jet, and the Cypher has always been FNS in the past. Kaboose has also been one to favor more towards the Omen, whereas now they swapped him over and he's playing the Raze. So it's an interesting role juggle that we're seeing here come into this series, and it's not something we would expect to see from the likes of Envy, but I do like it, and it might be catching T1 off guard a little bit.
Yeah, and again, as a Cypher, you never expect to see him lead the scoreboard or the server when it comes to frags, and that is certainly the case so far. Atypical performance from mummAy, but again, given the agent that he's on, it's expected. Once again, a slow push out of Envy. Skadoodle is able to spot Akis on the other side of that wall there. That shock dart looked like it didn't connect the first time or the second time. But now the spike is starting to move. Crashies gets dropped. An unfortunate ending to his life there. The spike creeping over onto B side. And again, very, very patient play by T1. They are not investing, even with all the information that they've seen over on B.
So I did misspeak, and I said that normally you would see the Omen on Kaboose. Was misremembering, so that's on me. But at the same point in time, you're right. Seeing mummAy on the Cypher, you kind of wonder how that's going to impact him when he switches over to the defense. that early aggression coming in from T1, trying to take that fight over on B long with the shock darts. It's kind of funny to just watch it backfire completely. And at this point, you are already calling for a full save. So Skadoodle was the only B side defender, and they realized, okay, we've got too much currently in our tool belt. We cannot afford to throw all of this equipment away because they would be completely broken. The money would be absolutely atrocious. So it's a 4-player save for T1. They do have the Raid's ult coming into the next round. They'll also have run it back for the Phoenix. The Cypher ult is available as well for the attacking side. So they'll have that neural theft. But we'll see how T1 tries to respond. They've lost a wealth of rounds early on. This is a very promising start for Envy.
Yeah, and I'm surprised, Boq, and I'd love to get your thoughts, but I'm surprised to see their willingness to give up a round, especially on CT's side, this early up against Envy. And it's not like it was a 5v3 or a 5v2 where, statistically speaking, yeah, you're probably not going to win that. That was a 5v4 that easily could have gone both ways. And, you know, we can have the philosophical conversations around how much easier it is to retake a site after T side has taken it, or excuse me, after the attacking side has taken it, but they just give it up. Boq, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I get it, but I feel like I need to see some of the confidence from T1 come back, because right now they are playing just a little more passive. I think it all started with that pistol round. So they played aggro in the pistol, and it didn't work out well. And I think they were like, okay, let's play back a little bit more. We've seen some aggressive pushes, and we're going to get some here. So I guess they may have hurt us a little bit. As Food goes aggressive in showers with one more backing him up. It was the Brim. And as they get back into the A site, the one-way smoke's going to come in from AZK. That'll allow them to spot the feed as they come around the double box. The Molly's going to go down to try and slow down the push, but they're already past it. There's the ult coming out, the showstopper from Food. AZK picks off one more, and it's all up to the Cypher here on the site. A quick and easy kill for AZK. Well played by T1, aggressive through the showers, giving them the early advantage and capitalizing, not allowing themselves to get broken. So now you can see the value of that previous round. Playing off of that B site, playing passive after initially losing it, going for a 4-player save, ends up netting success in the round that follows.
Yeah, and keep a close eye on Food here. The last 2 times these guys played, it was on this map, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, me too. I'm actually kind of hungry.
Yeah.
Food dropped 31 kills against Envy on this map, if I'm not mistaken. Chat detectives, let me know if I'm wrong. But I want to say it was against Envy. It was on this very map. And if Food can have a repeat performance, we're going to be singing a very different song here. Yeah, T1 falls a little behind early on, but again, that's why we play best of 3, and that's why it's the first to 13 rounds. You hear the run it back go out. crashies is going to get popped as soon as he steps out. Still opting to play a little bit aggressively. He's going to spot one, not able to connect the kill, but FNS is going to be significantly worse for wear after taking those shots.
Food barely gets an angle. Spots a pixel.
Enemy down.
Picks off Kaboose. There's the res coming in, but mummAy's been taken down. That's the op going bye-bye. AZK back corner still spilling blood here for the likes of T1. But now they've lost sight control as the wall is down and Food really can't offer too much assistance. It's going to be a 3-on-3 as the numbers even out. You've got the curveball coming through, and the Raze is going to get flushed back into the wall. But at that point, oh, so close to trying to get that spike through. Doesn't work out so well. The spike drops inside the A site, and it puts all the pressure on Calypso as the Omen. 42 HP with Food right around the corner. It's an easy 3-piece on the round for Food. The game you were thinking of, by the way, was actually on Ascent, and he dropped 31 kills as the Phoenix against Envy. On Bind, he dropped 20, so still a good game in the 13-10 victory.
Ascent. Thank you. Either way, this Food guy, he's pretty good.
Here.
7-4 to start us off here. He's going to have the op this round, looking for some flashy plays, and this is going to be a tough round for Envy. You see that they aren't willing to invest a ton, and it's probably not because they don't want to, but it's because, quite frankly, they can't. So we'll see how this plays out. Bloom on the last series on this very stream showed time and time again the ability to win thrifty rounds when they have no real right to win them. We'll see whether or not Envy is able to replicate that access. You see the sheriff in the hands of mummAy, and the spike creeping its way over onto A.
Oof.
Yikes. Yep, mummAy's not going to be up for very long as Food gets an opening frag in this round.
The shot was almost where it needed to be, just couldn't quite connect. You've got the op now getting pushed back as FNS has gotten close, a little too close for comfort, using the curveball as the Phoenix. There's AZK backside popping the orbital strike to try and slow things down. On top of the smoke, you've got Akis, and he kind of catches him off guard. You've still got one on the other end of that dart cover. Recon Dart's going to give away the position. That makes it difficult to get out of that spot, but again, it falls onto one. This time it'll be FNS, who's only got an SMG. And the spike is down, and he can't really get back towards it. There's one coming through the showers as well. FNS trying to gain a better position by moving into U-Haul, but now the peak comes through, and he's dropped down to 39.
Yeah, not a ton of options here. If you're FNS, you're alone, you don't have the spike, you don't have a ton of health, and everybody knows where you are. Brax is able to get the kill, and for as good of a start as it was for Envy, we're knotted up here 4-4 in the opening game of this best of 3.
Thank you.
Now, to be fair, this is a close map. It's what you would expect to see. And when it comes to balance, this map is pretty much dead even. The question I really have, though, is mummAy as the Cypher, as your op, like, one of the reasons you want to see that op go into the hands of like a Jet is because of the fact that you get that mobility. In fact, I was talking about it with our producer. Having that mobility as the op player is something you don't get in other games. One of the reasons that those guns are balanced is because of the movement penalties. So when you don't have movement penalties, it changes the way you can play drastically. So it's a little bit disappointing to see him swap roles, especially out of the blue, it feels. But I'm curious to see if there's a plan there. Nade coming in again in Hookah to try and flush them out of position. Crashies right around the corner behind the wall. They have to dodge some nade damage coming in from the other side. But look at the amount of bodies built up currently over on the B side. This is a full-player defense. Kaboose starts spraying through, not able to dispatch of the Phoenix. A self-heal will have to come through as there is no Sage in play for T1. Deciding to go with a different agent composition here on Bind.
Interesting that the Omen is the one lurking as well on the side of Envy to keep an eye on that flank. But again, the spike has not been committed. You mentioned how heavily T1 was investing over on the B side, and it seems to have paid off, that gamble has, as they managed to guess right. But the spike is now starting to rotate its way back over to A slowly but surely, and it doesn't seem like T1 knows quite yet. They're not rotating with it. They might get caught here with their pants down.
You've got Food currently waiting in heaven with the op. There's the ult being popped. Can't quite time the shot right. He does leg Kaboose, so Kaboose is down on 23 HP after firing off that rocket, the showstopper towards heaven. They will get the plant in time with about 10 seconds left on the clock. Skadoodle already coming through from showers, but there's a wall across to prevent that position from being viable. Food from heaven able to pick one off over top of the ice and the truck. So that's a bit of a problem, as it's mummAy now, who's currently going to have to watch the remainder of the round. And it's a 3-on-5. The numbers heavily favoring T1 as they continue to try to get back in the site. The wall has been chipped away at. The ice no longer a problem. The flash is not working out well at all. Skadoodle is cleaning up. It's down to just one, and AZK makes it look easy. Another flawless retake coming in from T1 as Envy has stalled out in the middle part of this first half.
I love how T1 played that. That retake was really executed to perfection. The way that they were able to leverage the op in order to pick the kills that they needed after the spike goes down with the wall up and everything. They just played that super well. I think T1, again, for as slow a start as they had, they've rattled off 4 rounds in a row. They've got money for days. They've got guns to show for it as well. And once again, Envy finds himself in a position where they're going to have to stick with pistols to try to make something scrappy work out here. T1 is poised to continue to grow their lead, but holy cow, mummAy does it again. 2 opening frags to kick off the round.
I know exactly. Destroying right now over on long. Unfortunately goes for the neural theft at a bad time. There was one pushed up. It's Brax playing the Cypher. There's the satchel going down right into Brax's face. That advantage has evaporated. Yikes! Brax comes through with the jumping classic, taking out Akis as well. All of a sudden, that early work is gone. It's down to now 2. They went from a 2-player advantage off of quick pistol work from mummAy to a player disadvantage. And not only that, they've got the hardware disadvantage. They're trying to now get into the A site, calling for an audible. The nade is in the hand of Food, has to be careful, one's right around the corner, about to potentially take a pistol. There's backup from AZK. So at the very least, they get the spike down, but it's FNS who's here with just a pistol.
Now, once again, Envy find themselves operating on scraps in the closing moments of the round. Food is very easily going to be able to dispose of FNS. The spike is going to be used. All right. You tricked me there for a moment. Yeah, the spike is going to be defused. It's going to be another round going into the pockets of T1, and they seem to have found their footing. Again, they've got the money that they need. They have the momentum that they need to put together a very strong CT half.
Calypso having a rough start here as the Omen 1-7. FNS 7-7 as the Phoenix, mummAy 6-6, AZK and Food have made that A site look
this is a nice spot.
rock solid. The defense not faltering over on A, so it's no surprise that you're going to see them try to pressure B. The problem is B is where you've got 3 players playing defense, so it's quite difficult for you to get past that. We'll see what they can do here. Food getting aggressive in showers is going to get them some intel as well, not spotting any players in that position. There's one on top of the tuna can. That was Brax, who's now returning fire and dropping the Raze down very low. So Raze is going to have to back off. Skadoodle is going to spot all of them right around the corner. He's going to call it out. Hey, there's like 4 people here. And if they rotate and they go through that port, you're going to have to challenge Food with the off and showers. Here comes the push, though. The ult being popped there. And the pulses through the wall from the stove are not really doing too much. The blast pack's right on the money, but he's just too low on HP. crashies makes it look easy as he runs through the molly. Brax is in sight, still playing defense, but they haven't made it past B long. They're still stuck. They've got 1 stuck guard and 2 over towards Portal.
They've been so cautious with their executes. It seems like it's just taking too long. And they get caught in situations like this where they invest a ton, they maybe drop someone, and they're no closer to the site than they would have been beforehand. You see them at the numbers disadvantage. crashies is able to get another one as FNS drops, and once again, the numbers tip more heavily in favor of T1. Now you see the spike going in, but it might be a little bit too late. The orbital strikes are going to come down. It doesn't look like it's going to connect onto anyone quite yet. mummAy's going to try to even it up, but Brax gets one. He gets the second one as the spike drops as well.
What they don't realize is that Calypso snuck onto the backside of sight, but it doesn't make a difference at that point. Brax is just too good at locking down that position. They traded spots inside that dark cover, so he goes for the port inside the dark cover, starts to walk through the backside, and Brax slides in from inside Tuna and just waits, and then pounces on his prey. Skadoodle only sitting at 3 and 4, but it's not really because he's doing anything wrong. The rest of the team is just doing everything right. Envy. They started out strong. It was looking so promising. But then once the double op look came out, and that was really the backbreaker, the double op look proved to be really strong and a bit of a problem for Envy to deal with. We'll see if that's going to continue here. The flash to lead, crashies out. Has to back off to take out the Boombot. Doesn't want to take that additional damage. So no aggressive peek coming out from the Phoenix. Flash is out over on long. Doesn't make a difference. Skadoodle's got the timing. Shock Dart coming in as well to do additional damage as they try and go for the push. The shot through the smoke doesn't connect. There's some more Shock Darts coming out. Yet again, you see the port into the dark cover from Calypso. So he's on site inside those smokes, waiting for an opportunity to pounce. There's the first. Will he find a second? Yes, he does. There's one more in the middle of sight, but not able to get the best of AZK.
Oh, and it's going to be a 2v2 left here with 1 minute left on the clock. Kaboose is going to go down to the hands of AZK, and AZK drops in response. Folks, a 1v1, the spike in the hands of FNS, and as everything started, it comes to a screeching halt. You hear the showstopper used. FNS is getting the heck out of dodge. He's going to take the TP and rotate all the way over, but folks, look at him. Look at what he's doing. He took the TP, and he's just going to walk back through the spawn. Food's going to get caught on the other side of the map.
No, I think he's baiting out the double fake. So he's taking an extra long amount of time on the rotate. The problem is, okay, there you go. So Food's finally starting to think, okay, I think he's going B. So he ran through Portal, then wrapped all the way back through Spawn, goes for the spike plant on A, just close enough to hear the plant come through, so you'll see the Rays now repositioning on the A site, the AWP in his hands. And again, FNS is going for that 700 IQ play, running all the way around through showers and playing the spike. You can see the pings coming out on the spike to try and give away that position. I love this, and he's totally going to catch him off guard. Should be an easy kill. All he has to do is time this right, and come on. There you go. We were waiting for it. I was hopeful he would peek a little sooner. We knew what he didn't, that he wasn't looking his direction. But waits for the tap on the spike. It's a 5th round coming in from MV off of a big brain play from FNS at the end.
And a really important round, in my opinion, for morale as you go into halftime. You start off super strong, and then you get punched in the face for 6 rounds in a row. The fact that FNS was able to steal that round away with the Galaxy Brain plays, I think can have an impact on the second half and the mental momentum that comes with that. We'll see whether or not it pays off, but they're poised here now on CT side to have gotten 5 rounds, to have that last round win, to go into the more, debatably, the more advantageous side. I think Envy's in good spot here.
It's got to start here. If they can pick up another pistol, that'd be huge, kind of jumpstart the second half. Got Akis playing inside Hookah, wants to go for the wall. Timed perfectly, so the Boombot gets locked out of position. But the investment favoring utility here for the Rays means that the blast pack is going to be used to chip away at that ice and make it disappear a lot faster. It does look like, though, they want to maybe move back towards the A site. You've got a double push currently in the showers, and one's been spotted. Calypso's locked in the corner. He's got the Cypher offering up support, but the rest of the site, it's empty. All they've got here is a cam and some utility to try and prevent this push on short. And they're just going to go right through it. So the drone goes in first. The tripwire gives away position, but they're taken out pretty quickly. There's the feet coming in from Calypso. Somehow gets the best of Brax, but inside the site they go. And it will be T1 who's mopping up currently. Kaboose can't even catch crashies off guard after pulling out the molly, and it's down to 1. It's FNS, and I don't care how big his brain was in that previous play. I don't think he can think his way out of this one.
No, things fell apart for Envy very quickly. In the pistol round of this second half. And, you know, one of the things that we didn't discuss, which had an impact in the first half, but that we're not going to see in the second half, is the lack of a Sage on the side of CT. Excuse me, on the side of T1, especially if they make that play towards A. Oftentimes you'll see teams funnel their resources through A short. They throw up the Sage wall to block off the rest of the site, really only having access from heaven and then through U-Haul. We're not going to see that here. We'll see whether or not that proves to be problematic on the side of T1. Again, such an important tool for professional teams on the attacking side on this map, and that's not going to be a factor here at all. An economy round for Envy. You expect T1 to win this one as well. And unless something goes awfully awry, we're looking at a 9-1 here for 9-5, excuse me, for T1.
I was going to say, that's a drastically different scoreline than I remember. And I looked away for a second. I was like, wait, what happened? Right now, you've got Akis currently underneath the window with a shotgun sitting outside Hookah. And he goes inside that dark cover, and it almost kind of backfires. For a second, he lost visibility. Gains it back. But it does look like, again, we're going to see rededication towards A. mummAy started to rotate off, so he's going to have to get back into position, and there's not a position in the world that's going to do anything to stop this one. They're going to continue to charge forwards into this A site, guaranteeing the spike plant and great position. It should be a 9th round here, like you said, for T1. It's not really a difficult round to win.
No, and again, we're having if Envy somehow manages to pull this off, we're having very different conversations. But again, the numbers are in their favor, the guns are in their favor, the map positioning is in their favor as well. And yeah, it looks like on the side of Envy, they're just going to rotate away. I don't know what they're saving, because it's not like they bought anything. But yeah, they're just going to rotate away, give the round up to T1, and that's going to give them a 9-5 lead here on this first map.
Take a look at the scoreboard in a second, too. I mean, AZK having an absolutely fantastic game here for T1. Not necessarily a player that gets profiled often for the likes of a team like T1. You can see 16-7 currently with 5 assists as well as the Brim, no less. Behind him is Food at 11-6 as the Raze. They say AZK, he is the North American player, but the Titan, he is the French Stars. And that's apparent here, whatever that means. I don't know if you're familiar with the meme. I still, to this day, don't understand what that person was trying to say, but I will repeat it nonetheless until the day I die.
Yeah, commit, right? You gotta commit. Unlike what we're seeing out of T1 here, as they have not committed to whichever site they're going to want to go to. You see Raze with the spike now starting to creep their way over to A, but the defensive front that T1 has put, excuse me, that Envy has put up, it looks like it's a 3-2 in favor of B, but T1 looks like they're guessing correctly. They're going to have the numbers in the right place. That's going to be the ability to get onto the side. mummAy's just going to push through the cage, and he's going to be able to get the opening kill onto crashies. mummAy opting to play a little bit more aggressively, and he's going to get a second one as well. As brax drops, give him a third. He's looking for the fourth, and he's going to land it as well. He's got the ace in his sights. Oh, he's not going to be able to get it as Food takes him out. Akis, however, is going to be a good teammate, clean it up, a clean round for Envy that they desperately needed.
Can someone get this? Thank you.
Strong play coming out from mummAy, but not with the up, which we're used to seeing. It's actually rifle work coming in from him that makes it work over there on the defense. We'll see if switching away over to the op here is going to work out a little bit better for him than it did on the attack, where he really struggled to get things going, especially when he had the op. It just felt like it wasn't clicking. And again, we talked about it, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but in general, it just feels a little awkward being the primary op as the cycle. Akis spamming away towards mid. There's a bulk of players built up currently in that area. Akis again, just going to wall it off. Again, Raze is there, so there's the possibility for blast packs to take down that ice quite quickly if they decide to go for this. They are going to use the Owl drone. Ouch, that hurts a little. The blast pack detonates a bit early. The Owl drone spirals in, looking for that intel, taken down quickly by Akis. Slow orb comes out in a response. Camera's going to come out from the Cypher. Curveball going through the flame wall, but a curveball back in response from the defense. Trying to slow things down as the spike is currently pushed inside Hookah, but it looks like they might back off of this one. The spike's been dropped and handed over to the Phoenix. There's a lot of players currently sitting back just a bit. Doesn't seem like they're 100% committed to the B side.
No, but as we say that, they start creeping up B long. Again, crashies has the spike. He's made his way all the way up, but FNS is right on the other side of the wall. I don't believe crashies has another curveball, as the pitcher's duel that went down earlier was netted in a no decision. You see him stacking up, AZK and crashies just on the other side. Do they opt to pull the trigger? Yep, crashies is going to go. FNS gets the first one, looking for the second one, and he's going to drop. But Kaboose is there for the backup as he gets to AZK and Skadoodle drop. The spike sitting harmlessly on B long.
And that's the round. Brax backing off and going for the save. There's still plenty of fight left in Envy, despite the fact that they did, again, stall out in that first half after an impressive 4-1 push. They picked up the pistol and the second round. They lost the first buy, but they returned fire with the third buy round. And then the round that followed. And the round that followed was when we saw that massive full save come in from T1, where it was 4 players left alive, but they kind of surrendered B-site control. And then from then on, it was just T1, 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 until the very end of the half when we finally saw them put themselves back on the scoreboard again. And site control even was a problem for Envy in that first half. If you look at the rounds that played out, the 6-round wins we saw from T1, only 2 spike plants came in those scenarios. And that final round that they did win was a 1v1, like 9 million IQ play from FNS, where he baited out a rotate through the portal and went back to the same site. There's Food getting aggro through showers. That should not work out so well with just a pistol. But he makes it work, and now they've got orb control as well. That gives them the Brimstone ult. That also means they've got the Showstopper to lead into this A site. They've decimated the A site defense despite having very limited hardware to work with.
How have they done this? It seems like they do it time and time again. However, FNS is going to try to even things up here, but it's going to be a 3v3 again. T1 in no business to be as close into this round as they are. You hear the spike going down. It has been planted. Kaboose, seeing if he can get any info, any damage with his grenade, but Skadoodle's trying to do the same with something that's far more intended to collect information. They have spotted everyone, but again, it's just pistols. They're gonna have. All right, Skadoodle's able to get one as Kaboose drops, looking for the second one up close and personal. He gets it. Not gonna get the third, but it doesn't matter. They win the thrifty round as Envy gives up a costly one.
That all starts in showers, and it's a really disappointing defensive hold there by Calypso. Just caught off guard, maybe a little bit of vision obscurement by the utility being thrown out by the Rays. We'll give him credit there, but he's struggling here in this game to begin with. 4 and 12 performance coming out from Calypso. Things just not clicking for him. As Envy lose a round they honestly should have won with ease. The op is in play on both sides. Again, Skadoodle's numbers maybe not indicative of a grand performance. More of a background player in this game, as the rest of the team is carrying the weight a little bit more. Calypso gets aggressive in showers. We'll see if Calypso clears the corner or if crashies does it first. Starts to back off as the dark cover's about to fade. They know that Calypso's been playing aggro. You can even see pings going down in the showers. They know that he's here, but he's hiding just behind this cam, and they don't anticipate this. That's the play we needed to see. Patient as ever is Calypso, and it nets 3 kills for him in the showers.
Oh, he needed to get that monkey off his back so bad, and he's able to do it in really what could be the most important round of the game. This has the potential to get out of hand for Envy here, especially after they lost the last round that they had no business losing. You see Calypso, looks like he's going to continue to play as aggressively. Food is going to walk right into his crosshairs as Food gets one, but no, Food is able to snap onto Calypso and get the kill. Down to 2 members left on the side of T1, and Envy is really in a similar situation. mummAy missing a rare shot with the op. That has nothing to do with being on Cypher, but you don't miss twice when your name is mummAy.
Skadoodle now trying to jump clear around the corner. Dart inside his belly. He's got the op. He sees that barrel around the corner. mummAy's going to punish with the peek that comes through. 10-8. Envy keep themselves alive, and they keep T1 from getting closer and closer to match point. The money gonna start to become a problem, and you can see that again. One of the biggest pieces for success for T1 started when the double op came out. When they got that double op on defense, that's when things started to turn around. They're not in a position where they can even afford one op, really. They could, but then the rest of the team's on a weird buy. They're going to go for it. So Skadoodle's going to go ahead and buy. They're going to juggle some cash around, siphon funds from one account to the other, and they're going to end up with a full buy, or at least as full as they can get it. But this is a huge round. If they lose this, their money is going to be in a bad spot. So that would be potentially 9 rounds and then a 10th round following, assuming that Envy does not bungle another potential 50 round.
High risk, high reward play here, and this could not be any closer. Again, the tale of the tape has delivered between these two squads, heavyweight North American teams, and they're going toe-to-toe. Kaboose looking for the opening frag with the showstopper, and he's not going to be stopping any shows there, as Food takes a bit of damage, but it's going to survive. The wall goes up to block off entry into Hookah, and that's going to force T1 to reconsider whether or not B is the way they want to go.
Early damage dealt here to T1. They're licking their wounds and falling off. Again, no Sage means no heal, so that early damage is a problem. Calypso lining up the one-way smoke over on short. That'll go up on top of the box. He'll be able to spot the feed as they come around the corner. And you've got the op here as well. We'll see how they decide to deal with it. There's the flag to come in. Smoke's in heaven. Orbital strike on site. A lot of utility being sent out. There's the Hunter's Fury as well. Literally everything they had thrown at this A site to try to get them access. And it does result in a big kill. That's the Sage going down. So they lose that extra utility. They lose that heal. Holding down the flank is Skadoodle. Skadoodle misses the shot, but his movement gets him away. He's trapped in a corner, and he needs some support, and he's got it from over towards U-Haul. But now the push is coming in towards that territory, and they need those players to turn back around. It's a brawl on the site as it goes back and forth, kill for kill, bringing us down to a 2-on-2. AZK still U-Haul as the Brim. You've got the Cypher over outside showers. Peek comes through from short. FNS is there, and it's all down to 1. It's Brax. He's such an all-star player, playing as the Cypher, currently locked in this corner. Aims away for just 1 second, but somehow gets the best of FNS. Time is a problem, and it's gone too far. 11 rounds now for T1, but look at what it costs. Everyone on their side dies.
Envy yeah, they didn't win the round, but as far as economy goes, they might as well have. T1, that hurts. That hurts real bad. You see Brax again dropping all the way down to 0. Skadoodle is going to be able to spend some food once again, just rocking the Spectre. Can't get a full rifle as well. And on the other side, it looks pretty bad as well. Look at Envy. They're going to have pistols and an op. So this is going to be a scrappy round from both sides. In the closing rounds of this opening map. The spike right outside of hookah. You see the Roomba is going to play opener. Akis is going to spot one, but again, all he has is a ghost. How much damage can you really do there? I say that, but he's done it time and time again. AZK on the other side of the map, however, is able to get 2 opening frags in the round. Akis is going to get dropped as crashies gets him through the wall. That's going to be entry onto the site, but they don't have the spike.
Got spike.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter. The ripcord's already been pulled. This is a save. They need this to keep that op in play. mummAy was the only one that could afford, or not could afford, he was the only one with anything. Coming in from the previous round, obviously the only survivor, the sole survivor, he had the op on his back, but the rest of the team was down to nothing. It was pistols. So yeah, we mentioned it. That hurt T1's economy, but it hurt Envy's even more. And that was a back-breaking round to lose, because now it means that T1's going to be at that 12th point. And if mummAy can't get away, that's a problem. He does end up falling in the fight as he backed off directly into the sight of the Cypher. All players taken out here for Envy. Despite that promising push in the first half and a rebound in the second, they've surrendered over round number 12. The buy that comes through, we'll see rifles across the board. mummAy is armorless with the operator, so that is a glass cannon coming in for the Cypher, who's currently top of the scoreboard for his team, but it's not a grand performance, 14 and 12. No one on Envy really having an all-star game when you compare them to the likes of Food and AZK on the opposite side.
And folks, remember, this was Envy's map choice. They chose this. So for T1 to be able to take this and then go into the next map that they chose, which is going to be Ascent, they're poised for a 2-0 here, but we'll see if Envy has anything to say about it. You hear the run it back's been used, but unfortunately going to be met with the wall. crashies is going to drop first. Excuse me, it was the other Phoenix. Either way, crashies goes down first. Akis still on the other side of his own wall, trying to hold back the onslaught that is T1. Oh my.
Point blank, Food's gonna shotgun FNS as the showstopper just a little late to fire. Post-mortem kill coming through. Nade coming out might do significant damage if they're not able to escape it. Meanwhile, over on short, it's Calypso to get the best of Brax. It's a 3-on-2, and AZK very low on HP, sitting at 34. He's got Skadoodle behind him with the op. No, yes.
You will
okay.
not
For a second, I didn't see it.
alive.
But Skadoodle does have the op, and they're going to be moving up over towards long. They have the spike. There's the res coming in from Hookah. Oh, man, that could have been bad. Almost lined up as FNS gets the res from Akis, and Akis is now like, dude, I can't believe I wasted the res on you, and then I died.
Smoke's down.
It's unfair. But it is down to AZK. AZK is going to go for the ult pickup, as he does now have the orbital strike. He'll go ahead and grab the op as well, and he's just going to back off and spawn and save the operator for the next round.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't look like Kaboose is going to cheat up far enough to play spoiler, but FNS might be able to spot him out here. He knows he's been heard. Oh, easy money. FNS just looking the wrong way. A nice shot there by AZK. An important round, an ever-important round for Envy as they fend off the first map loss up against T1. T1, they've got some money. They don't have a ton. This feels like, and Boq, I'd love your thoughts. This feels like a must-win here for T1. If they, with how heavily they're investing into this, they're going to be in dire straits if they lose this round.
Yeah, if this were earlier in the game, this would be what we would refer to as a swing round, where whoever wins this is going to likely win the round that follows, as they're going to break the money. Obviously, that's not the case, because if T1 wins this, the game's over, and we'll be moving into map 2, which is Ascent, and that's T1's pick. But yeah, this round, very difficult for T1 should they lose this. The round that follows will be a little bit easier. Envy has to be careful, can't afford to lose players early. And you can see they are playing a little bit more aggressive than we have seen. So as I say that, you've got the Phoenix pushed up in Cubby, and you've got the Omen currently on top of double boxes with the Cypher backing them up. So they've got a 3-player hold, but all of that power, that presence is over towards A short, and there's no one going A short. At best, they're going to spot the Raze, who is the late player coming through, but they're bulking up towards Showers. There's 3 players currently coming there. AZK is starting to circle back around to come through from short. There at least will be something coming through from that territory. We'll see how they fare in this exchange. First shot's right on the money, and there's the follow-up as well. The ult comes through from Showers. That's going to be the run it back. Somehow, the call doesn't come through, so crashies gets the best of Calypso, who's got his back turned. The shot from mummAy is right on the money. That's brax going down. Another one from mummAy. That's 3 on the round. There's only one more standing in his path. It's crashies. Close towards U-Haul. Spike is down. Goes for the pickup and will get it. Kaboose will fall. And it now becomes a 1-on-3. You've got crashies sort of locked in. U-Haul, 10 seconds left, has to fight his way out of this one. Curveball's right on the money. Shots to the dome of mummAy. He's just costing them cash at this point. But eventually, his reign of chaos will end. A 10th round comes through from Envy, but it does cost them a lot more than you'd hope with where the round was at when they had it down to that last player.
mummAy coming back from the dead, so to speak, with 3 huge kills to keep Envy's hopes alive. But look at the guns. Look at the guns from T1. They've got nothing. They can't buy anything. They're just gonna go into this with pistols and hope that they save here. They're able to take the next round, but Envy inching closer and closer to forcing this thing into overtime. The spike once again outside of B, but much like we saw on A last time, this time it's on B. Look at how aggressively Envy is playing this. They have 2 members poised up, pushing up towards Hookah. He's gonna get curveballed out. He's gonna get flashed out, but he's able to take one somehow on the way out. crashies is gonna trade it up, however, and it's gonna lead things into 4v4.
Come on, let's go.
There's the ult coming in from FNS to run it back over towards the site. There's one currently up in Hookah. The pistol almost worked out a little bit better than you'd anticipate. There's 2 that remain. It's the Brim with the orbital strike and the Sova as well. That's Skadoodle and AZK. Legends of the Counter-Strike world. AZK may not get as much love for what he did in CSGO, but man, his career in CS Source is absolutely unreal. His run with Team Dynamic illustrates his strength as an FPS player, and we've seen that in this map as well. Sitting at the top of the scoreboard for most of it for T1. Kaboose still in position right around the corner. There's the curveballs coming out from A Cubby. Gonna have to be careful as the molly comes through. Now the port comes in, and they're kind of stuck in this position. Looking to just take a few more bodies out with them. At best, maybe they can even try and sneak in a plant, but it seems incredibly unlikely with the defense currently positioned here on the side. There's the first one going down, so yeah, at least they take one more player out, again, impacting the money. But now we come to this final round, round number 24. T1 wins, we go to map 2. Envy wins, we are going to overtime.
These 2 teams could not be more evenly matched. This has been such a good opening map to this best of 3, and like you said so eloquently, Boq, it all comes down to this round deciding the outcome of this first map and whether or not it gets extended. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a pretty methodical, slow start on the side of T1. They aren't even really aggressively pushing anywhere with or without the spike right now. It's just a very slow wait and see. Trying to see if they can get any information here, but Calypso looks like he's going to get his first crack at a frag, and it looks like it might be onto crashies. AZK is going to be cheating up as well, just on the other side of the wall. Food is able to get first. mummAy going down in a pivotal round. That's going to hurt if you're Envy, and here comes the firing squad. There's the drone. He wisely drops off. There's the Hunter's Fury. FNX is able to get one, but he's going to get tagged up. The orbital strike is going to drop down, as well as AZK trades one out. 3 members left on the side of Envy, looking to keep it alive as Calypso gets one, and he gets taken out.
Got the spike.
It's down to now 2. It's Sage coming through on the flank, and Raze up in heaven. Kaboose has the blast pack, has the nade, and has the boombot, has all of the utility you'd want, all of that can deal damage. AZK now looking for that flanking player, not prepared for Akis, who's around the corner, waiting behind that tripwire. There's the boombot going out for the intel. Skadoodle spots the barrel as the jump peek comes through from Akis to try and bait them out. And there's the double hold. You would expect that to work out nicely, but there's great damage dealt here. It's down to Kaboose, who's got the blast pack. Pops it a little too early right around the corner. There is the Raze, very low on HP. There's the swing. So it will be Food with the 3K on the round, and it will be T1 who take things 13-11 here in map number 1.